See, the basic problem with the U.S. economy is we have too much consumption and borrowing and not enough production and savings. And what's going to happen is the American consumer is basically going to stop consuming and start rebuilding his savings, especially when he sees his home equity evaporate. And when you have the economy 70% consumption, you can't address those imbalances without a recession. You know, rather than the recession being resisted, it should really be embraced, because the disease is all this debt-financed consumption. The cure is that we stop consuming and start saving and producing again, and that's a recession. And sometimes, you know, medicine tastes bad, but you got to swallow it.
Art Laffer, you hear him? He says the consumer's going to slow down in order to rebuild the savings. And you know that 2/3 of the American economy is driven by the consumer. Do you believe that?
No, I don't believe any of it whatsoever, Michelle. Excuse me. But, you know, what he's saying is that savings is way down in this country, but wealth has risen dramatically. The United States economy has never been in better shape. There is no tax increase coming in the next couple of years. Monetary policy is spectacular. We have freer trade than ever before. And not only that, but there are no incomes policies things here. I think Peter's just totally off base, and I don't think it's going to be. I mean, I just don't know where he's getting his stuff. The
well, one of us is
well.
off base, but it's definitely not me. I mean, it's not wealth that's increased in the last few years. We haven't increased our productive capacity. All that's increased is the paper values of our stocks and real estate. But that's not real wealth, no more than the NASDAQ was wealth. When you see the stock market come down and the real estate bubble burst, all that phony wealth is going to evaporate. And all that's going to be left is all the debt that we accumulated to foreigners.
Peter, I'm going to take a bet with you on this one. I'll bet you a penny on this one that if you'll sign a letter saying that if you're wrong, you'll sign a letter that you were wrong to me in this, but you're just way off base. There is nothing out there that tells us we're going to have a nice slowdown, but it's not going to be a crash.
Let me ask you this.
I'll bet you a lot more than a penny.
Tom, what do you think?
You're going to see prices go up about 10%. Here's why. Because you're going to come into a regular, normal market, and a regular, normal market, so that's about what kind of appreciation you get.
Home prices up 10% in the coming year. Peter, what do you say?
Well, today's home prices are completely unsustainable. They were bid up to these artificial heights by a combination of temporarily low adjustable rate mortgage payments, by a complete, absence of any lending standards, and by speculative buying. And what's going to happen in 2007 is a lot of these artificially low ARM payments are going to be reset upward. You're going to start to see both the government and the lenders reimposing lending standards and tightening up on credit. And you're going to see a lot of the speculative buyers turn into sellers. And these sky-high real estate prices are going to come crashing back down to earth.
I first of all, I have no idea what Peter Schiff is talking about. I agree with Tom. I think they're going to be probably up to about 10%. What artificial lending standard are you talking about?
What's word to Peter?
Most of the profits that people have in real estate are going to vanish, just like the profits in the dot-coms in 1999-2000. It's a fantasy. People can't sell their house. The inventories are exploding all over the country. Houses are on the market for 6 months a year. There's no bidders. The prices are going to fall through the floor. You guys are deluding yourselves.
We heard it loud and clear from all of our panelists. We thank you very much.
Jim, we've only got about 30 seconds or so, but I want to get your take on the investment banks. I mean, do you think we're addressing the problems enough, the credit problems there?
I am short the investment banks, as you know. I added more not too long ago. There's a lot of phony bookkeeping going on. You should learn the word level 3 accounting, level 3 assets, because you're going to hear a lot about it in the next 6 months.
All right, Jim. And very quickly, you said you're short the investment banks. What else are you short on right now?
Mainly investment banks.
Mainly
and the housing. Fannie Mae, I'm short Fannie Mae.
And housing as well. Okay, we'll talk more about that a little bit later in the show. Thanks very much, Jim. Just hang on here.
I'm short Citibank.
Well, Citigroup, not doing very well. I want to get to you on oil. You just heard Sue Keenan talking about the supply-demand situation as well as inventories. Last time you were on, you said we could get $100, $150, $50 oil. What's your outlook now?
We can get $100 oil or $150 oil. It's going to happen during the course of this bull market. Whether it happens this year or 2011, I don't know, but I know it's going to happen. Oil prices are going to go higher because nobody has discovered any gigantic oil fields for over 40 years. I mean, there's just no oil out there. Now, the bears say, oh, there's plenty of oil. I suggest they sell oil then. If there's all this oil out there, why aren't they dumping it on the market? The reason is it's not there.
We face a tsunami of spending due to the retirement of the baby boomers that could swamp this ship of state. Every year we don't act, the number goes up $2 to $3 trillion. Okay. That's 12 zeros to the right of that, too.
David, we have a deficit now of $53 trillion. But when you say a number like that, and you don't hear any politician really talking about it, and they're all like, oh, well, it won't make any difference. Put this into perspective for the average American. Wake the average American up on what that means to us.
That means that every American has an implicit mortgage of over $175,000 each. Each household has an additional implicit mortgage of over $400,000 each. But unlike a typical mortgage, there's no house to back this. And therefore, what we're doing is we're mortgaging the future of our country, our children, and grandchildren at unacceptable rates.
Okay. If we were a company and you were the comptroller for that company, we would be bankrupt now, right?
We'd be out of business.